What's up, guys? Today's episode, we have Emma Pace. She is an absolute beast when it comes to online lead gen and cold calling and just closing and working a really smart business. Super admirable. She shares a lot of her nuggets as to how to run proper online lead gen, how to close online leads at a very high conversion. So it's a missing piece for a lot of people's business. You guys are going to love this one. And to top it off, her new Sales Genius course, which she's launching August 1st, is going to be amazing and a good offer for all you guys if you want to learn all of her systems. She will come in person and train you. We're offering a special affiliate link in our descriptions to the Sales Genius. And as a price to sell special, they're going to offer a special bonus training for you guys. So click the link in our description. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I hate Dean, but thank you all for coming back. As always, you guys rock. Thank you for all the love and support. But today, we have an amazing episode lined up for you guys. I feel like I've known her forever, although we just met. She had me in her podcast. She's an absolute rock star in the real estate world. Great taste in music as well.
Thank you.
When it comes to really creating a smart approach to selling real estate and systemizing it all and becoming a master at it, this is who I got on the couch with me. Team lead of Pace Real Estate Group, Emma Pace.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Let's do it.
And you beat Ryan.
I did.
So
that was just my target. If there's metrics that we're tracking, it was just getting on here before him.
Yeah, so Ryan, we're going to delay you even further just to make sure that you're way after her
100%.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Ryan Wikes. Shout out. But thanks for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah. I mean, we my favorite band ever, which no one knows. She knows.
That is how we got connected.
That's how we really connected.
Yeah.
That was like
sure.
a next level connection.
Talk about rapport building for salespeople, right?
Yeah. Their music.
It was like a little sleeper hit piece of information there, and then that kind of bridged the gap.
It was. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I need this. This is my crew.
Totally, 100%.
But let's get into a little deep dive as to a little background onto who you are.
Yeah, so my name's Emma Pace. I run a real estate team. We were previously the Pace Real Estate Group. We've rebranded to Monstera, but it's all good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When
it's
was
all
that?
good. Beginning of last year. It's been
Okay.
a little bit of time, but
Okay.
but nonetheless, still got a team, which is fantastic.
Love it.
Really been enjoying running the team, and I started in my career kind of accidentally almost. I moved to Toronto because I was DJing. I know we talked about that
Yes.
before. And so I was like, well, I need to quit my day job. What is the quickest way for me to get more time to DJ? I was like, getting my real estate license sounds pretty like a good idea. And then, you get your real estate license and quickly you're not DJing anymore because it takes up all your time.
Yep.
And then just kind of transitioned into, working on my own, building a small team with a couple people, now a bit of a bigger team, and now transitioning into kind of helping agents develop their phone skills. So that's kind of like a quick summary of who I am and where I came from. But prior to even DJing, I was doing outbound credit card sales on the phone. So I've been on the phone for the last little while for sure. It was a tough job.
Yeah, that one would be a little.
It was a tough job. It you definitely develop some thick skin, but it was probably one of the best jobs I could have ever had because there aren't very many jobs that are as brutal as calling people outbound, trying to get them to upgrade their credit card.
That's like bottom of the barrel stuff right there.
It was brutal.
In terms of like receiving the most negative probably feedback ever.
Yeah, but you know what? It sharpens your sales skills. And the
I'm
thing
sure it
is,
does.
if you are able to quickly identify opportunities in a CRM, you actually can save people some money. So it wasn't necessarily always just going in there and trying to get people to spend more money. Some people were getting hammered with fees and whatnot there.
True.
So
You had a value add.
totally.
Love it.
Totally.
And which brokerage are you with?
So I'm with EXP now. I was with Zoocasa for the bulk of my career, like 7 years or so. And then we just got purchased by EXP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I don't think it was as surprising as I expected it to be. Some people were pretty surprised by it. I figured at some point in time we were going to get purchased, and it seemed like honestly, it seems like a very good purchase for EXP because they needed an opportunity for like in-house lead generation and online lead conversion and stuff like that. So I think it was a pretty good strategic move on their behalf.
Yeah, I mean, good company.
Yeah.
I'm with them too.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a little pitch in there for you.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't necessarily need to go to the office, I think agents are a little strange about that though. It's like they want to choose to work at a brokerage for the option to go to an office, but then they never go.
Yeah, I know. I love offices. We have offices.
Yeah.
But I'm the same. You know, it's like consider myself an office guy, but I love my home office.
How often do you go in?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's honestly probably more than most agents.
Yeah, but like, you know, and we're doing our trainings and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I love my home office as well.
It's funny because I only spend half my time downtown. I spend half my time in London.
Yes.
And I still use the office more than everybody else at Zoocasa.
And we're going to get into that because that's like the whole working smart thing.
Yeah,
I was
totally.
referring to. But I think I saw, you were on a panel at the Buzz?
Yeah, I was.
The blue.
With Sam Hewitt. Blue 35 plus minus, whatever it was called.
Were you on a couple of them?
I was just on that one with Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the topic there?
I talked about lead generation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so it was all 7-figure team. I don't know if it was just I think there was a couple individual people.
That was the one, the
individual
7-figure.
earners, and then a couple of team leaders on there as well. So that's.
But it's a 7-figure one.
Yeah.
That's what I want to highlight.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was my bridge into that.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because, and we're going to dive into how you do it. 'Cause I think it's super smart. Like when I found out how you run your business, it's like, okay, crushing 7-figure mark, which is like people's dream, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of your business is in Toronto?
Almost all of it is still
And you live in
Toronto.
London?
Yes, I do.
Which, you know, so it's like, talk about systems and working smart, but you've become like a master through online lead gen and being on the phones and funnels and, you know, like emails, all these things. So I'd love to like unpack that because you do it at like extremely high level, right?
Totally.
So
it didn't all start. I didn't acquire all of those skills all at once.
So like let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I first started in real estate, the reason why I started working with Zoocasa was because I was broke and I had no money to generate leads. And so I decided, I'm like, listen, I'm going to go somewhere where I can get access to leads because quite frankly, I know nothing about real estate at this point in time. And I need to get some at-bats so I can kind of learn the sales process, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't have enough money to invest. And also, if I invested this money, I don't know if I'd get a return on it. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges with agents marketing is they don't actually look at it as an investment. They look at it like, I'm going to spend some money and pray and hope that I get a return. And that's not what an investment is. An investment is putting in money and knowing that you're going to be able to get a return. And so what I did was I invested my time in learning the back half of the transaction. So when somebody actually comes through, what do you say on the phone? You know, how do you book showings? How do you do offers? All that kind of stuff. So I spent a couple of years kind of building that up. Yes, my splits were higher, significantly higher, but I had no real operating expenses as a result of that. I was just kind of doing my business. And I built kind of the back half of the transaction. And then I realized, I'm like, listen, I can get better splits if I learn how to like generate the leads myself. And then I went and I figured out how to do all the online marketing stuff. And then I started to generate my own leads, take a bigger split, make more money. And then once I had more money, I was like, I need to take something off my plate. And so the first thing I actually took off my plate, I had an assistant at the time to do like the administrative stuff. Cause like, are you good at admin?
Hell no.
Yeah. Okay. That is like the thing I am the absolute
like
worst at.
I praise my assistant Jesse daily.
Totally.
He's like, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I once did paperwork.
Yeah. It's not.
So yeah.
You know, salespeople or, you know, realtors, I mean, that's ultimately what we are, but we're really good, you know, with people, but we are horrible when it comes to administrative tasks. So I had that taken off my plate first, but then I was thinking about, okay, well, how am I going to build this team? And what are the things that, you know, are kind of like my lower leverage tasks? And so my first hire was actually a showing specialist. Okay. So someone who could actually go because I was living downtown at the time, and like, you know how long it takes to get to showings.
Oh yeah.
You'd be like an hour and a half to
Oh.
get out to one showing, and you're like, I don't know if this person's gonna buy this place,
sure.
right? And so what I did was I ended up hiring a showing specialist who got paid a certain percentage of our gross revenue, and I would literally just sit at home and I would make calls and I would do the appointments, and that's it. And then once I got to a point where I was like, I have so many appointments, I can't do the calls anymore, then I outsourced to like my own ISA. And so I had an ISA booking the appointments, I was doing the appointments, I was getting the showings and stuff ready with my assistant, and then my showing specialist was going and showing the properties, and then I would do the offer. So it was like ISA, me doing the appointment, someone doing the showings, me doing the offer. So I was kind of focusing on the two like highest level or highest leverage activities.
So chatting with closing the client, getting them on board,
Yep.
and then also closing the deal.
Yeah, totally.
Love that.
Yeah, it was good. And then that scaled up to all the systems were scalable, so we documented everything, and then we were able to bring on more agents.
And what's your do you have like you have your numbers like in terms of like conversions and stuff?
Yeah.
Where-
So if we're doing like Facebook lead conversion, we should be between 2.5% to 3%.
Okay.
Just depending on kind of like the time horizon.
Yeah.
But my expectation for my ISA is that we have like 15 to 20% of the leads that come through online for Facebook, that they get transferred over at least to the team for some follow-up, right? So if
Okay.
100 people come through, I expect 15 to 20 of them to get dispersed between the team.
As appointments.
Whether it's a direct appointment, like he'll either do a discovery call with somebody on the team. If the conversation goes well enough, he'll book a strategy call, which is like a buyer consultation or listing presentation. And if they're not quite ready to go, but they have some elements that we try to hit, like milestones throughout the call, he'll still transfer them across. If they're like, I want the keys in like 6 to 8 months, but I'm not ready to have a conversation, I still want them to go over to an agent if we've had a meaningful enough conversation for us to be able to convert them.
For sure. And what are some of these milestones?
So the 3 milestones that
Okay.
we need to accomplish in every call
Get pens and paper.
is, grab a pen and paper. Motivation,
Yeah.
ability,
Uh-huh.
and willingness. Those are the 3 things that I care most about on the phones, because I think what happens, especially if you're working with a third-party ISA company, and this is one of the challenges that I've seen, and I was able to learn a lot through Zoocasa because we had like a big ISA department, so I was able to interact with them regularly. And what I noticed is like most ISAs will come in and they'll give you notes, if they give you notes, and they will be like 2 bed, 2 bath, 700K price point, want to be downtown, and they want to buy in 6 months, right? And those are kind of like the main elements that most people consider a qualified lead. But for me, I'm like, I want to know, why are they moving? Do they have any motivation? Because if they don't have any motivation, it's going to be pretty challenging for us. It's not our job to convince someone to move. They have to be convinced on their own. We have to ask the right questions. And if they are convinced on their own, then and we can determine the motivation, it's going to be a lot easier for us to provide value and to be able to actually help them and not feel salesy. So we ask questions to determine what their motivation is and determine whether it's real or if it's not. And then we want to determine, do they have the ability? Because some people really want to move, but they don't have any money. So if they don't have any money, there's not really much we can do.
Of course.
And then the third thing is the willingness to work with us, or more importantly, consider us for the position. So if they have those 3 things, if they have 2 of those 3 things, my benchmark is for them to get transferred across to an agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're doing everything through Zoom?
Everything is through Zoom.
Amazing.
Listing presentations will go in person.
So I imagine you're not meeting a lot of these clients in person. Like you personally. Like your team is. Your team is.
My team will meet them in person.
Yeah.
More often than not, I don't meet the clients.
Yeah.
I'll meet them at client parties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is still amazing that you do that, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool because I'm you guys and you work with Ryan, and
Yeah.
Ryan's my coach.
Yeah.
Ryan Wicks.
Ryan Wicks.
When I say Ryan, because there's quite, I imagine there's some other
There's
Ryans
probably some Ryans
in the
Toronto.
world. Yeah, like Saving Private Ryan and
Yeah.
stuff. Favorite movie, by the way. Dean, stop laughing at me. But like it's admirable what you've built, because I've been spinning my wheels, and I'm sure a lot of agents out there are just consistently spinning their wheels. I'm still doing that hour and a half showing of traveling. I love driving, so I don't mind. I'm probably the most patient guy in the world. Like patience is literally one of the things that I'm like proud of myself for.
That's amazing.
So I have that.
Yeah.
But I'm not being the smartest with my time either. A lot of the time.
I think we sometimes like, and I did this a lot. I would get in my own way. Like one of the biggest, I don't want to say it was a mistake. I just did it for too long. Was when I hired my showing specialist. I felt really weird about never meeting the clients, right? Because
is the showing specialist, they're licensed?
They're licensed, yeah.
Okay,
they have to be licensed, yeah,
so
to show the properties.
So back to you feeling weird.
Yeah, so I felt really weird. Like you had mentioned, you're like, so you don't meet the clients? And I imagine if anybody's watching this, they're like, okay, so you sell houses and you never meet them in person. And I kind of had that limiting belief for a long time. So my standard protocol at the beginning was I would do the buyer consultation. I would bring the showing specialist on the buyer consultation with me. We would then both meet them for the first property tour, and then I would try and do like a warm handoff, and then they would continue on the showings. And so it went well, but then I was thinking about the process, and I'm like, am I actually confusing the clients more often than not? And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to try this and see if it works without me necessarily needing to be there. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. We'll go back to the regular protocol that we have. And what I did was I just changed the script of how I was kind of selling the team in the buyer consultation. And it was actually the best thing I could have done because the clients were way less confused. They weren't like, oh, can you come meet me at this property just so you can kind of check it out, right? Because I kind of set that expectation. Where now I'm like, this guy is way better at showing properties than I am, right? Like that's not what I do anymore. I'll do the negotiations and I'll handpick the properties and do all of that kind of stuff. But when it comes to viewing properties, like he knows houses. Like I know houses pretty well, but like he knows them equally as well as me, if not better at this point. You want him on the showing. And then you want us together to be able to communicate to give you the best service. So the feedback that we get from clients is like, I have 3 people that I get to deal with instead of one person running around, and everybody just kind of stays in their lane and does what they're good at. Yeah.
And are you still doing the buyer consult with your showing specialist?
They're usually not there now. So what I'll do is we have a whole system, obviously, for the note taking and then communicating after to make sure that they're kept in the loop, because I also kind of felt like with my showing specialist, it was almost unnecessary for us to both be there. And so we were trying to figure out, like, is there times where I should speak? Is there times where they should speak? Because I also need to build them up as an authority, where what I found was them not actually being on the call and me selling them on being the authority was actually boosting their authority when they met them in person more. I didn't want to feel like I was like undermining them or they were like my underling. Like we're supposed to be seen as equals, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I'm literally like, I just have, my systems are just starting and we're getting appointments booked. I have the ISA. Yeah. We're getting the list, right? And the call's being booked via Zoom. Yeah. And right now I just have my agents taking on the call. Right. With our admin, our team admin. Yeah. But now you're getting me thinking like maybe I should be on that call. I should close it and then sell them on.
I think, kind of going through and optimizing what our highest dollar per hour tasks are. I actually think the appointment is our highest dollar per hour task because you're one, as a team leader, you kind of want to maintain the relationship with the clients. Like if they're going to call you back for repeat and referral business, you do kind of want to maintain the relationship if you can.
It's true.
And the second thing is you'll likely be able to close at a higher ratio than your guys. And so as a result of that, everybody makes more money if you show up to the appointment, because if they're only, if they're only closing at 40% and you're closing at 70, now they have, 3 or 4 more clients that they get to work with, which means more money for them at the end of the day. Yes. And it's more money for you as a team leader as well. And so I actually think our highest dollar per hour activity is conducting the appointment. I just don't necessarily think that you have to go to the appointment. I think if you have a good enough, my appointments have improved as a result of COVID, because I think I can add more value now with being able to share my screen and walk them through data and stuff like that. And so, that's kind of how we do it.
What kind of data do you walk them through?
Predominantly the sold information.
Is this at what stage you're doing this?
At the end of the buyer consultation.
At the end?
Yes.
So they understand price points, like right off the bat?
Yeah, totally. So, our kind of 3-step process for the buyer consultation will be like, we have a rapport building phase, which is kind of going through their needs, their wants, their motivation, all that kind of stuff again, in more detail than we did on the phone. And then the second part is doing the education phase, which is walking them through the actual buying process. And then the third part, which I think is the most fun part for everybody, is like the data analysis phase. And that is more to prove to them that like what we're saying is true, because if you think about or you put yourself in the shoes of any general buyer or seller that maybe hasn't done this before, like they're not going to trust real estate agents. They're honestly, to me, I'm like, I totally understand why they don't trust real estate agents. People are doing shady shit all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so if I tell you something and I say, hey, Matt, the average price point in this blah, blah, blah in this area is this, and they're selling this quickly. You're like, okay, sure. Sure, salesperson. I'm sure you're inflating the numbers and you're saying that things are happening more quickly, so I feel this urgency, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it is a lot different, or it's perceived a lot differently to people when you show them the thing than when you just say it out of your mouth. So for me, what I want to do is to eliminate somebody thinking I'm trying to push their price point up or not sending them listings or something like that. And so the data analysis phase will usually be going in, drawing a map around everything they said in the rapport building phase. So they want to be in this location, they want, this budget, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll draw out everything and choose all of the filters for their dream criteria and see what's sold in the last 60 days.
So just on the sold data.
Yeah.
On Stratus, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll look through and I'll say, hey, look, this is your 100% wish list. There were 3 properties that popped up in the last 60 days. Let's look at these 3. You look at them and they're like, there's 0% chance I would buy this.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I can't change that. I can't change that what you want isn't reality.
Yes.
But what I can do is slowly drop off one filter at a time to see what filter would have the biggest impact in bringing in inventory. So you're like, you said you wanted parking. We drop off parking. Now all of a sudden there's 15, and you look, they're like, oh yeah, I would definitely consider these. You're like, okay, could you be flexible on the parking? I know I said it was important to me, but like, yeah, I would be flexible on the parking if I could get street parking. Okay, if you can be flexible on the parking, I feel much more confident, because that means that one in every 4 days or so is selling in your criteria. But if you can't be flexible on the parking, we got to put it on. We have to start messing around with the filters so that we can get enough data in there where I can confidently say to you that I can help you. Because if there's 3 properties in the last 60 days and you wouldn't have bought any of them, I can't really help you.
Solving a huge problem.
Massive.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're setting an expectation right off the hop.
I'm saying
a lot of buyers just they don't have the realtor's not educating them enough out there, and they're all just spinning their wheels and going to see a million properties, and it's always the same debacle or conversation at the end when it's like, want to put an offer on this?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's going to go over your budget. Okay, but we want to try. Right?
Because you haven't set the right expectation on the front end, and then what you did was, it's almost always exclusively the agent's fault. Because you didn't have a good system, you didn't educate them, and then you get frustrated with them. And what happens is you'll burn 60 to 90 days. And if the market changes in 60 to 90 days, and now they can afford even less if the market's on an upward trajectory, you just totally screwed your clients over by not being honest with them and going through this exercise at the beginning, is the kind of the way that I see it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for you as agents, there is no point of view going and running around doing these showings for an hour and a half. If those 3 properties pop up, they say there's 0 chance in hell that I would ever buy any of these. And you say, would you be flexible with this? Would you be flexible with this? And they're like, no. You're like, okay, well, how to explain to me, or like tell me a little bit about what I could do to help you. Can we expand the geographical region? Can we up the budget? Can we drop off these filters? Like, what can we do? And if they say no, like, we're not magicians.
Yeah.
All we can do is just, we purvey data, and then we assess the data, and we say, you can either do this or you can't. And if they say no, then you go, okay, there's no problem, but I'm not going to be able to really help you if there's no flexibility here. And so you just saved yourself a tremendous amount of time. You don't have to do showings.
Huge, guys.
And you could be on the phones.
Huge. It's a big one. I know a lot of you wasted time out there. I'm a culprit.
Yeah.
I am.
I wasted a lot of time, and then I was like, how can I not?
Yeah, it's what you've built is like, it's a system that many realtors don't have. It's a business. You're smart with it. You understand like your priorities and where you're making the most money, like what deserves your time. Super important. I think everyone can take crazy notes here. And now I'd like to segue into, if they want to, you're offering training on top of things, right?
Yeah. So
which is awesome, because I mean, like, you've done it, you've been high level and successful with it, and now you're willing to like give back, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think, well, one of the biggest complaints that I hear from people is they'll generate leads, or they hire a third party lead generation company, and they're like, these leads are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a portion of me that's like, yeah, maybe you could increase the lead quality, but lead quality can only get so good. Unless it's a repeat or referral type of business, there's always going to be these shitty quality leads that kind of come through. And so I think the biggest area of opportunity for agents is they just don't know what to say on the phone, and they don't know how to say it. They don't know what to say without feeling salesy or coming across as too aggressive and stuff like that. And that's really what I focused on early in my career, is getting better on the phone. And that started with outbound sales. And so Ryan and I have partnered to teach agents how to actually have conversations on the phone without coming across as being salesy, so that they can actually convert, and more importantly, feel confident in investing in their business and getting a return on it, so that we're not just like spray and praying with our money.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think just like the nature of what's going on in our industry right now, with like 50% of sales volume down, like the amount of food on the table is cut in half.
Yep.
Plus you have 105,000 agents in Ontario, right? So it's like we're all attacking. You got in numbers like a bunch of seagulls at one piece of bread.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to put it.
I just thought of it right now.
I like it.
I'm pretty good on the fly. But so it's like, how do we? And the biggest complaint obviously is agents don't know like where to start. Like, how do I get leads? How do I get leads?
Yeah.
So to be able to create this without going to these third-party companies, because a lot of them are the same shit.
Yeah.
And the lead quality isn't that good. And then when that lead does come in, if you don't know what you're doing, then you're not investing your money properly. You're just spending it, like you said in the beginning of this episode. So I think it's crucial. And this is my pain point right now. This is why I'm like, I'm resonating really hard with this.
Yeah.
And Ryan's been helping me with this too. And I'm going to be hopping on your training course too, because I think it's like perfect for my team.
Yeah.
But yeah, if people can just learn how to master this, they can create a whole other pillar in their business, whether it's like self-operating or they're doing it themselves, because I'm sure a lot of you do have time out there now.
For sure.
To create that income source, because if you're sitting around waiting for your phone to ring, or your referral to call you, or your family member to hit you up saying they want to sell, I mean, like, good luck surviving.
I think like the quickest hack, because we know that most people that get in this industry don't last 3 years, right? And so it's like, if you can just pass that threshold, you're good. And the easiest way, or what I think is the easiest way, this is just my opinion, but I think that if you can figure out how to speak with people on the phone, right? That's probably the first skill set that I think that you need. This is just the way that I've done it. It's worked well for me. I learned how to speak with people on the phone, and I paid somebody else for the leads. Okay. Then once I learned how to speak with someone on the phone, then I learned how to get the leads myself, so I could stop paying that person. Right. And then I taught it to somebody else. But if you can do that, and you can figure out how to actually convert like a colder audience, what you're doing is you're able to ramp your business up so quickly, because that business is where you're going to get your repeat and referral from. And so I think way too many agents come in this business, and then they wait for like family and friends to transact, and then some referrals, and it's like this very, very, very slow burn, where I think if you just learn these two skill sets and you build up, it's like a pyramid, right? You build up that really strong foundation of clientele as quickly as you possibly can, you're going to get that natural cyclical repeat and referral business that comes from the Facebook lead people, et cetera, et cetera. And so then you can scale it so much quicker, and then you can pass the 3-year mark. And once you pass the 3-year mark, you're like, I did something that 83% of other people can't figure out how to do. But you do have to take that very seriously. And you have to spend time learning. It's a skill set that once you learn, you don't really ever have to worry too much about making money again. Like, you could drop me into any business, and as long as I learned like what the pain points were and what the offering was, like you could drop me into like a roofing business. I know nothing about roofing, but I could ask the right questions, and I could probably close a sale and make money and have a decent livelihood in any industry, because I know how to speak to people on the phone now, right?
Yeah, it's a consistent pipeline.
Yeah.
And I've done that through social media.
Right,
exactly. And year 3 was my year 2. And now I just have like a consistent flow of business, people hitting me up in the DMs, and my clients just consistently knowing what I'm doing and what I'm up to because of social media. So I've created that pipeline for myself. But now because I know this exists
Mhm.
and I've seen people like you succeed at it, I'm actually starting to build this out for my team and my business now too, because a lot of them are like, I'm being a solo agent for 7 years now, having the team, I'm seeing like their pain points
For sure.
and they don't have that pipeline or consistency that
Yeah, and not everyone's comfortable, and that's the thing is like I was never really comfortable being on camera. Like
For
I'm
sure.
starting to get more comfortable with it now, but I was like, I don't want to make videos.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call some people,
For
right?
sure.
And so if you're like, I don't want to be on video, like you're amazing on video. I feel like we've known each other for years
Yeah.
because I met you kind of online, but not everybody is comfortable with it. And so I think this is a way where if you're like kind of self-conscious about being on videos and you still need to grow your business somehow and you're like, how do I do it? There's a way to do it, but either way, there's some uncomfort, right? It's like
Yes.
you're either going to be uncomfortable being on camera, you're going to be uncomfortable making calls for a little while until you get more comfortable with it and you know how to like nurture the pipeline and stuff. So you kind of have to choose your discomfort, or the alternative is you're not, potentially as financially secure and you're constantly stressed about bills. So like that's also discomfort. So you kind of got to choose what you're uncomfortable doing.
I prefer the former.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's if people when's your sales academy, like when's this training system
August
starting?
1st is when so August 1st is when the general public training is going to start. So if you're
Okay.
an individual agent and you want to get one-on-one training,
Mhm.
but we're already training teams.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say, but we've
Yeah,
got
of
a couple
course.
decent good-sized brokerages that we're working with already.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be in there as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know you're going to crush it too because I feel like you're like a sponge. Like you pick it up very quickly, and I also think that you have I think people really resonate with you, and so I feel like once you pick it up and you're able to teach it to other people, you're going to make a really big impact.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And for people looking, like we're obviously, other than looking you up, like
Yeah.
what's the training course called?
So our company is called Sales Genius.
Okay.
If you are looking as an individual agent to get training, Phone Pro is probably going to be the easiest way for you to get some one-on-one training. And if you're a team and you're looking, or you're a team leader and you're looking for training for your guys, we're doing a 12-week intensive, which is the art of phone sales. And basically, we actually come in and do live training and train your team and teach you on the metrics, and we do kind of like their call review. So it's like kind of a business in a box where you get like a temporary sales manager.
Yeah.
We come in, we train your team, we watch them for 12 weeks, and then we give you the formula on how you can continue to run the sales training.
Which is amazing. And we'll post all your links.
Yeah.
If people want to reach
That's
out
awesome.
and stuff.
Instagram's probably the easiest.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Pace of Base. Love that name too.
Thank you.
But this has been awesome.
Yeah, this is great.
You've been fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
If you guys want to find her at Pace of Base, we will post her descriptions below. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. It's awesome. Admirable. I'm gonna be hopping on this system too now because I want to support my squad, and
That's awesome.
it creates some magic, my friends.
Yeah,
Create
let's
some
do
magic.
it. Go out there, make some phone calls. If there's one tip I can give you, it's just pick up the phone.
Yeah,
You don't have to do anything else other than pick up the phone. You'll be okay.
that's it. And to everyone out there, again, thank you for always tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. If you love this episode, if you love all our episodes, leave 5 stars, please. Nothing less. Because I'll find you. I'll do a warehouse. And until then, we will see you on the next one. Peace.